Okay, good evening everybody, my name is Oseh, and tonight we are back on Field Mountain, the Oseh family farm. And I borrowed a ton of money during the off time.
Oh, you think it's funny, you go for that.
Sorry about that. So, while we were offline, we borrowed a load of money and we bought the two fields that are adjacent to the land we already have. That set us back 170,000, which we borrowed all of it. However, since we've already paid back 170,000, I'm not too fussed about taking out that level of a loan. It will increase our income over time. Mrs. Oseh is working on the fields south of us, which is grass. This one's barley. They're both not ideal states. The grass field has weeds in it, and the barley field needs ploughed and lined, which we'll do after we're finished pulling all the crop off. Might swap fields because Mrs. Oseh seems to like baling stuff with our little round baler, and she doesn't like windrowing stuff, which is fine by me. For some reason I'm getting 3-minute videos advertising Krone equipment on YouTube these days as people's commercial breaks, and today's was Krone what is it, these things, windrowers, these types of windrowers. And one of the guys was saying he loves this because it's such low maintenance, and before he was using one of these and the tines were always breaking. It was a pain in the butt to keep having to fix them. So obviously I'm not so familiar with the maintenance states of various farm equipment, but obviously since it was a promo for Krone, they all loved their Krone equipment. I'm sure if you didn't, you'd get rid of it, and you wouldn't be extolling the virtues of something you didn't particularly like. Must admit, I tend to prefer the windrowers, although they do need power off the tractor, which the rake doesn't need. The rake can get kind of awkward with its coverage. I think this field is possibly a little bit larger than the ones we have currently. Not significantly so.
Both hands behind your back. Put your thumbs up and in that corner.
Position the camera so I can see the right side of the header. And yeah, the only job we have, contract that's open at the moment, is harvesting field 1, which is probably about 3 times the size of field 2, which is the one I cultivated yesterday, which is about 3 times the size of our our previous 2 arable fields. So I'm figuring this harvester it can do the job, but it's gonna take a long time. So we'll kind of skip that as a stream thing. Stick to our own land. And since we are going to need the extractor to wrap the silage, I'll probably take my tractor down to the store with it and get that all straightened away. I'm not sure. I think it's still over 50%. We'll check the condition before we do that. So it's still got a little bit of functional life in it. We might as well wrap the bales and then take it down to be serviced. We are. Probably should have emptied this at the top of the field. I don't think we're going to make it to the bottom and back. But this gives us, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, so it gives us something to do for the rest of the day. While we wait for our fields to catch up. Hey, Bimpin, how you doing? Bimpin says hi.
Hello.
Well, that's emptying since it's going to take a little while. We'll move the header trailer so that it's all set up to take the header once we're done with this field. Well, let's go forwards. Forwards is good. That's way too much for the turn circle of the tractor. Should be sufficient. Go get the tipper. We'll see how full. Oh, that's looking kind of full. Looking very full. Not sure it's 100%, but it's not far off it. Oh, no idea. Okay. I'll reverse that back so there's room enough for the harvester to turn. That running. Oh no, there's a patch of withered crop in the middle. It's all dying. Might have left this a little bit too late. I think we rescued most of it. We need to get a move on with this now. I can still drive through it even though I can't harvest it. It's fun. So I'm not even sure I'm going to get a trailer load here. do is I'll run down the right side because that gives us the most crop harvested, I think. Probably going to want about 30,000 at the end of this, so that we can put a workshop on the farm. Because a lot of our equipment is a little worse for wear. None of it needs to be maintained right this minute. After the next job it does, a lot of it will need looked at. It's a bit of a hassle having to drive all the way down to the store to get everything maintained every few days. So we'll probably get another 50 out of the rest of this field. We'll probably get a bit more than 50. Started a little off-stream ETS2 profile and came across some interesting sites which I posted to Arthur's YouTube channel today. I'm not sure it's been approved yet. Okay, hopefully this is the last bit we do. Yep. Oh. It's not my crop. I just bought the field and it was all ready to harvest, and then partway through the harvest, as I was going up and down the field, it withered. 2 squares of it withered, so it wasn't even a full but for the most part we've managed to recover most of this. Said I don't think we got a full wagon load, but it's gonna be close, I think. Let's try that. Oops. Okay. Yeah, there's no way normally I would end up with withered crop from anything, so the ATS video. We haven't done ATS for quite a while now. Oops. But yeah, that was me and Binpin on ATS. So we did that. We can fold up the lid. Stick this back on the header trailer. Actually, the harvester's in not bad condition. And again, we don't use it very often. Okay. That looks close enough to the middle. Drop it back at, whoops, a little bit. That should be good enough. Oh yes, that one. Yes, one of the things I know I did check on when I was playing ETS2 this afternoon was, did they also add the ability to do the external contracts, the World of Trucks jobs, using your own equipment? And yes, they did. So that'll be nice. And a reason why it's actually worth running with your own trailers now, because you're not restricted to just freight or cargo contracts. You can now do cargo external contracts. Okay. As you can see, those 2 fields, or at least that field, is very convenient to the rest of our farm. Okay, see how good a job we can do getting this all parked in there, all nice and snug. It's not easy. I can't position the camera such that I can see the barn wall. How's that look? Let's jump out. Take an eyeball. That's pretty close. Problem with no camera collisions. Push that back a bit more. There we go. Okay. That's that done. So yeah, back road is right by the house and then straight down here. Looks like a little bit of dead tree there. That one looks like it could be unhealthy too. Plus, I think we own some of these as well. So we do have the option of going... Oh, hello? It is flying. And it looks like that one is too. Then I need a telehandler to chop those down. Okay, how did we do? 93%. Okay. We don't have any supplies of barley. And 580. For now we'll just put that in the silo. Yeah. This tipper's very close to load capacity of this tractor. I think once we're rolling it doesn't have too much of a problem, but climbing up a hill it's going to struggle. I'll probably go with about T as the next one we get. We may also sell the A, one of the A's. Go, thank you. That's pretty much only worth 6,500, a little bit more. Maybe 8. But we have other jobs to do, so we'll get those started. Did that. The baling needs to be done. telehandler down here. So we're going to have to put lime in the thing actually. Okay, change of mind. That's lime. Okay. Flip the one over here. I'm going to teleport. And I also watched a farm blog this morning. Farmer's wife in, I want to say, North Carolina, and they had stuff to do. So the first thing they were doing, they were lifting. Oh, they were lifting the hay rings. Can't think of any. Let's see if there are any over. Oh.